Buenas noches, clase. Esta noche nosotros vamos a mirar la estructura de expresiones negativos y positivos. We're going to look at positive and negative expressions. All right, so let's think about this. Negative words deny the existence of people and things or contradict statements. For example, no one or nothing. Spanish negative words have corresponding positive words which are opposite in their meaning. Take a moment and write these down. Although you have them in your vocabulary, you need to remember that these are the positive and negative contrasting words. And I want you to take a moment and repeat them. After all, you're probably at home on your own and you're comfortable saying them. Repiten, por favor. Algo. Al contrario, nada. Algo, something, nada, nothing. Alguien, somebody, alguien. Nadie, no one. Alguno, alguna. O ninguno, ninguna. Or we'll talk about this in a minute, algún or ningún. They are opposites. If you want to say either or, in Spanish you say o, something, o. If you want to say neither nor, you say ni, something, ni. Okay, repiten. O, ni, ni. Always, siempre. Never, nunca. Or not ever, jamás. Jamás is really an adverb. Also or two, también. Neither, tampoco. Okay, there are two ways to form negative sentences in Spanish. You can place the negative word before the verb, or you can place no before the verb and the negative word after. Let's see two ways of doing that. Nadie se levanta temprano. No one gets up early. Or you can say, no se levanta nadie temprano. So you can make it almost like a sandwich where the no comes first and the nadie comes after. Or you can just put the nadie at the beginning. Ellos nunca gritan. They never shout. Ellos no gritan nunca. Again, they never shout. So now in your notes, take a moment and pause it. Look at the two pictures and write what you think this means. The first guy says, Yo siempre me despierto a las 6 en punto. ¿Y tú? And in the second, pues yo jamás me levanto temprano. Nunca oigo el despertador. Once you've written those down, please move to the next slide. Positive and negative expressions refer to people, alguien and nadie, are often used with a personal a. You'll remember that from Spanish 1. When we have action that is happening to people rather than to things, we use a. Remember, for example, if somebody is listening to the teacher, we say escucha a la profesora. But if they're listening to the radio, just escucha la radio. The personal a is also used before alguno or alguna, algunos or algunas, and ninguno or ninguna, when these words refer to people and they are the direct object of the verb. So let's look at some examples. Perdón, señor, ¿busca usted a alguien? Excuse me, sir, are you looking for somebody? No, gracias, señorita, no busco a nadie. No, thank you, miss, I'm not looking for anyone. Tomás, ¿buscas a alguno de tus hermanos? No, mamá, no busco a ninguno. What do you think those mean? Atención, before a masculine singular noun, alguno and ninguno are shortened to algún and ningún. Think of it the same way that you use un in a sentence instead of uno. So if you say a boy, you say un muchacho. You don't say uno muchacho. If you say a notebook, you say un cuaderno. You don't say uno cuaderno. So the same way that you do that with un, shorten uno to un, you're going to shorten alguno to algún and ninguno to ningún before the noun. ¿Tienen ustedes algún amigo peruano? No, no tenemos ningún amigo peruano. Do you have someone who is a Peruvian friend? No, we do not have any friends who are Peruvian. In English, it is incorrect to use more than one negative word in a sentence. In Spanish, however, sentences frequently contain two or more negative words. Compare these Spanish and English sentences. Nunca le escribo a nadie. I never write to anyone. No me preocupo de nada nunca. I do not ever worry about anything. So as the preceding sentences show, once in English sentences contain one negative, for example, not or never, no other negative word may be used. In Spanish, however, once a negative word is used, all the other elements must be expressed in the negative if possible. And lastly, we have two words that mean but. Although in Spanish, pero, which you've already learned, and sino, which is a new word, both mean but, they are not interchangeable. Sino is used when the first part of the sentence is negative and the second part contradicts it. In this context, sino means but rather or instead, on the contrary. In all other cases, when you say the word but, you have to use pero. Los estudiantes no se acuestan temprano, sino tarde. The students don't go to bed early, but instead they go late. María no habla francés, sino español. Maria doesn't speak French, but rather she speaks Spanish. Now look at the others. They are not contradictory. Las toallas son caras, pero bonitas. It's two things that aren't contrary in the same sentence. For example, the towels are expensive, but beautiful. José es inteligente, pero no saca buenas notas. José is smart, but he does not get good grades. Now I would like you to pause the video and write down answers that you think go in the following exercise. Cambia las oraciones para que sean negativas. La primera se da como ejemplo. Siempre se vista bien. Nunca se viste bien. No se viste bien nunca. Those are the two ways to change that sentence into the negative. So if you have alguien se ducha, what two ways can you make that sentence negative? Please do that with the remaining 7 sentences and then restart, and we have one more page with just a couple more examples for you. And here we go. Cambia las oraciones para que sean negativas. It's the same thing. You are going to go through to 12. I'm not quite sure why the 12th one has a U. That should be the number 12. So the sentence is, algunos niños se ponen el abrigo, and you are going to give me the right word that goes in front of niños se ponen el abrigo. Gracias y hasta mañana.